Hey my lovely YouTubers, it's me, Morgan Tracy J, coming today with a new YouTube video. And guess what? I know it is Fashion Friday, but I'm going to switch it up because this is something I just can't hold back. Today is my 2-year celibacy anniversary. And I know I talk about fashion on Fridays, but what is more beautiful than wrapping and clothing yourself in purity? You know, purity and walking in celibacy is the most beautiful thing. I can wear the most fashionable clothes, but if I'm not pure in heart and walking with God, then trust me, I'm ugly. Trust me, okay? So what I want to tell you today about is my 2-year celibacy anniversary journey, okay? Year 1 was already so amazing. Also, too, let me just do this disclaimer. This video is going to be super chill, super relaxed. I got a cup of coffee. The day is still kind of early, so I'm just really chilling out with this whole. I'm not like super professional, okay? So I'm just going off what God puts on my heart, and I'm just so excited to share this with you guys. Okay, so year 1 of my celibacy journey, I have a video all about it. I will link it down below. And honestly, guys, I was so ashamed to even walk into celibacy because how I had already had sex, and you know, I had ex-sex partners that they would see me saying I was celibate. They would judge me and be like, she ain't celibate, you know. So for the first year, I didn't tell anyone that I was celibate. I just kind of kept it to myself. I think I might have told my mother, but I really just really hid it from like people. I hid it from social media. I hid it from my YouTube channel. I didn't tell anyone the journey that I was taking because I was so embarrassed. I had a lot of shame. But through the process, God started working on me, and bam, then that's when I was able to drop my 1-year celibacy anniversary video. Well, this is to year 2, and let me tell you guys, it has gotten better and better. Now, don't lie. Now, let me not say there ain't no struggle moments, because trust me, there are some struggle moments. But in the process, I have gained so much. Like, I used to be really ashamed of celibacy. I didn't really like to talk about it. Because where I came from a life of having sex, and then I chose not to. And then too, some people would say, well, I think, you know, girls that go celibate, they're just, you know, HOs or whatever. You know, they would say things like that. And so it would make me feel really like, you know, don't share this. But you know what? At year 2, I don't know. I just pushed off some things. I called it my year of the fearless, and I just was bold with my celibacy. I started to create videos on celibacy. I started to just do more things about and embrace the woman that I was. And when I started to embrace my celibacy, then that's when I started to finally get pursued by men. Now, I'm not saying every man was the perfect man to be pursued by, but with that being said, it also allowed me to understand that, am I truly celibate? You know, am I truly walking in celibacy, or am I just doing it because I'm single? And I started to really learn, my coffee. I started to really learn a lot about myself, even when I got into some situationships, you know, I started to learn a lot about myself and just understanding where I am mentally and spiritually when it comes to celibacy. I can tell you everything about celibacy, and I will do that, okay? But the biggest thing I could ever tell you is I made my vow at 22 years old. I was 22 years old. I was still having sex. I was still living with my boyfriend at the time. I was still wrapped up into so many different things. I was 22. I was in college, okay? So with that being said, I was in a position, I did it kind of naively. I didn't realize all the things that were going to come with it. But what I realize now is celibacy doesn't just change your dating style, it changes your life. Choosing celibacy changed my life. It allowed certain weeds to get pulled up out of my life. It allowed the glory of God to be in my life. It allowed certain blessings to come to me. I never even preached to a congregation until after I became celibate. I never even spoke boldly for God like I do until after I became celibate. So what I understood is the choice that I made of celibacy was not just for me. It benefited me so much, but it also was going to benefit the people I was going to minister to, the women that I were going to talk to, all that. I did not know that at the time, honestly, but that's what I want to tell you. When I chose celibacy, it allowed God to put work to prepare me. It's like I spent a lot of time alone, but in that time, I was seeking God. I was reading His Word. I was listening to sermons. I was praying so much, and that just kind of built me up for y'all to see the woman today. This didn't happen overnight, and that was my first year of celibacy. And in that first year, no man pursued me, and I wanted to be pursued, okay? But no man ever pursued me in that first year. And I wanted to know why. I felt like I was ugly. Maybe I'm unattractive. Maybe I don't dress good enough. You know, I started to think it was me, but honestly, God just had me hidden. He knew that if a man pursued me, I would have jumped on that. He knew that I was not prepared nor ready to get into something prematurely. He knew that. He knew I was not ready. So that's what I want to tell you is my celibacy journey has been enlightening. It has been awakening, but it has been so beautiful to see the transition from the woman at 22 to 24. To see that at 22, I made a vow to God that I would be celibate or abstinent until marriage. Celibate, I just said, God, if you don't call me to get married, then I just won't. Okay. So that's the vow that I made. I went out and I bought, it was not this ring, but I bought a little $5 ring from Walmart, and I put it on and I made a vow to God. I was 22 years old. I was in my college dorm room, and I made that vow. I didn't know everything that was going to come with it. I just was willing to go on that journey with God. And that's what I want to tell you. This celibacy journey opened me up to minister, to speak to congregations, to be more bold for God, to not be so afraid, but also to walk in such a worthiness, to know that I am going to stay pure until the day that I am with my husband, to have that level of worthiness, to know your worth, to know the God you serve, to know the daughter of God that you are. That awakens you on a whole nother level. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about my celibacy walk, my journey, just being a woman that is bold with her celibacy journey. I think it's beautiful. I need a drink. It's so beautiful. However, there are struggles. There are struggles. There are so many struggles in your celibacy. Because celibacy doesn't just, change your dating style. It changes your life. And so you're going to your eyes are going to be very different when you look upon men. Your eyes are going to be so different. Your choices are going to be more based on God's temple and on what God wants versus just what you want. Your choices change. Your lifestyle changes. Your friendships even change. Things change so much, but it's for the glory of God, and it's for the betterment of you and for the lives that you're going to talk to. You're going to impact the girl that's sitting at the library, and you're going to sit beside, and then before you know it, you start talking about celibacy, and she's been having sex with her boyfriend. And it's so crazy that I didn't even realize how much my celibacy was going to help random people I didn't even know. I never knew that. And for the first year, I was really ashamed to talk about it. I really was, because I had just got out of having sex, And but what I have to tell you, ladies, is if you're feeling the pull of God to pull you into a journey of this, sweetie, God will reward you so much. And I think that's what I didn't understand. I thought me at first just giving up this thing was me no longer having it. But God is, you ever see that photo where it's like a little person, a little kid, and they're holding this little bitty teddy bear, and Jesus standing there with this big, beautiful teddy bear behind him? That's always how I view my celibacy. It took me so long to give up my little thing, which was sex and all that stuff, to give up to give it up, because God he wanted me to take that big, beautiful thing he had for me. But I didn't see it that way. And that's kind of what I want to tell you guys, is when you sacrifice, God will reward you. Inwardly, spiritually, mentally, he will reward you. And sometimes it is so hard. Like, I wish I could just tell you the moments of my hardness. Like, it gets really hard. It gets really hard not to say I'm going to give up and just do it my way. It does get hard. It does get a little lonely sometimes. You do get a little like, gosh, I want to be held and I want to be married. You get that. You want the Netflix and chill sometimes. Let's be honest. You do want that sometimes. But you have to remember what you're doing it for. And you don't want to go backwards. You only want to go forward. You don't want to fall into something you're going to regret, okay? And I've said a lot already. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just so grateful to make it to year 2, to make it through a full 2 years of celibacy. When I made my vow at 22, I couldn't see this far along. I could only see 6 months ahead, maybe that. I thought I was going to be married by now. That's really what I thought. That's why I told them, like, yeah, I'll be married in a year or 2, so that's fine. That's not what God had for me. And I'm grateful, because what I would have chose for me is so under the radar for what God truly has for me. What I would have chose, I would have been settling. What I would have chose, I would have been so comfortable in doing my way when God had something far more beneficial, far more beautiful, not just for me, but for the lives of others. And that's what I want to tell you. When I made my decision of celibacy, I was young, I was naive, and I was afraid. But even through that fear, and even through just the unknown, even through trials and tribulations, even through the temptations, I've been able to hold out. I've been able to stay strong. I've been able to lean on God, and I'm still sitting here 2 years later to say, I'm doing it. I'm living it out every day. And that's the best way that you can impact others' lives, is allow your life to be the light. Not your words, but your life. And I'm walking it out every day, not only naturally, but even in my mind, even in my body. I fight these things, and it's not always easy, but if you lean on God, all things are possible. I'm grateful. You don't know the woman that I was, and I wish I could just give you an ounce of the woman that I was. I was very perverse. I was very sexual. I was a big seductress. I used my beauty and my body to get things that I wanted, to make myself feel beautiful. There's a whole bunch of things that I would do, and the best decision I could have ever made, one of my best decisions, is choosing to be celibate. It allowed me to get healing. It allowed me to get understanding. It allowed me to get purpose. It allowed me to get worth. It allowed me to become transformed. And I am grateful. It allowed me to get more of God. It allowed me to see God within myself. It allowed me to love myself on a whole nother level. It allowed me to be free from a lot of demonic, satanic practices. It allowed me to walk boldly without the fear of what others may think. It allowed me to know my God, to serve my God, and to love my God on a whole nother level. And if that is something you're desiring, then it's only a decision away. Celibacy isn't just naturally, it's also in the mind. It says to hold every thought captive to Christ. And that's what we must do. In celibacy, you got to hold those thoughts captive. So that's what I want to tell you today, ladies. I love you so much. I thank you so much for going on this journey with me. I thank you so much for listening. I thank you so much for just inspiring me and empowering me. It has not been easy. It has not been a walk in the park. There is a lot of valleys. There are a lot of hills. There are a lot of struggles. There are a lot of things in this walk. But what I want to tell you is the goodness of God is revealed each and every day. Never doubt what God has told you to do. Never doubt if this is of God. God will call you into unknown territory, and at times it will even be you need to walk better in your purity. You need to walk stronger in this. Don't doubt what God has called you to do. Don't be afraid of the arrows that come each and every day. Stand strong and know that He is God. Don't shake. And if you fall onto the Father. Let Him catch you. This is a message from my heart to yours. This is about my celibacy journey, 2 years of it. And I'm looking forward to year 3. And I'm grateful for all that God has done. I'm so grateful. So blessed. Sometimes I look at it like, sometimes I would think, why me? People are, get to experience, things like that. Especially when I was like 22. I would say, God, why me? Why me? Why me? Why do I gotta go through this? Why does so-and-so get to lay in the arms of her boo thing and I can't? I would ask God these questions, but it's because God just has something different for me. All right? And so that's what I want to tell you. If you feel like, why me, God? Why have I been given this struggle, this challenge, this walk? Because God has something far more different and far more better for you. I know it sucks sometimes. I know it looks crazy. But God has something so much more beautiful for you. And if you would just walk with Him on this journey, you will get to experience all of His blessings, all of His love, all of His beauty. You will get to experience it. I thank you, ladies. I love you so much. Be sure to like, subscribe. Also, comment down below. Excuse me. My voice started going out. More coffee. Also, comment down below. That sounds a lot better. Also, comment down below. Anything. I'm just so grateful, y'all. 2 years of celibacy is done. I'm ready for year 3. Love you. Bye.